Will I be the poopy butthole if I accept a large sums of money from my biological family? I am 20s and was adopted as an infant. I never met my biological father or mother, but knew I was adopted from day one. I also know that my biological mom was 15 when she had me, and my biological dad was in his 20s. My adoptive parents have a biological daughter, my sister 25, who is in grad school and has student debt, whereas I got a full ride to do my undergraduates. This year I took a DNA test. I was excited to know about what cultures I belong to, and what genetics I have. Also to get screening from any genetic diseases. I discovered I am predisposed to certain allergies I didn't know about. And I also discovered several matches of before. And when I saw the last name, I didn't think anything of it. However, a few weeks ago, I received a phone call from a family law office asking if I was who I claimed to be, and we spoke for a little bit. I was asked to join a Zoom meeting later on, and when I did, I saw my biological grandmother for the first time. I started welling up. She and I have the same color eyes, and I have her nose. I didn't know how cathartic seeing somebody who resembled you felt, and I started to cry. We chatted for a few minutes before getting down to business. I was shown legal credentials proving this was a real attorney's office, and I was asked to show some photo ID too. I asked what was going on when my grandmother told me the truth. It seems my biological dad is a trust fund baby, and he is rich. As a middle-class person, this was a huge shock. After my biological family found out he had a kid and told nobody about me, they were furious. My grandmother wants to change my bio-dad's trust over to me. I won't say how much for privacy reasons, but I could live on it for the rest of my life, donate to charity every year, and still have a shit ton left over. It is major fuck you money. My bio-grandmother also said that because she has funds for her other grandchildren, I would receive one of those in addition to my biological dad's trust. She told me my biological dad is single, and it won't affect anyone but him. She also said she would want to find my biological mom to compensate her as well. The lawyer told me I should obtain a family law attorney, and that my bio family would pay for them, so I can obtain what my grandmother calls the money I deserve. I obtained 2 attorneys, 1 family, and 1 estate, and they are walking me through the process. I told my adoptive family about it, and they talked about how my sister could finally be a professional student, and how their mortgage could be paid off. When I told them how the fund works, giving an allowance every month instead of being a free-for-all, their tune changed. They said I am their family and should refuse the funds out of principle. I really want to accept the fund and meet and reconnect with my biological family, but I don't want to be an asshole about it.
Am I the asshole for refusing to continue to babysit my niece and nephew? I am 35, my husband Dustin is 42, and I have 3 kids, all boys of ages 7 and 5, and my youngest is 8 months old. My brother Chris, 37, and sister-in-law Rachel, 33, have 2 kids 4 and 2. I've taken an extended maternity after my most recent delivery, due to some complications, and won't be back at work until after the new year. My husband went back when our little one was 4 months. Chris and Rachel came to my husband and I about 2 months ago, saying their daycare could no longer keep them as the center was closing unexpectedly. They were in a bind and asked if I could watch the kids while they worked. I told them I would be willing to so long as it was temporary and not long-term. Both assured me they were seeking out a new center that could take them both. Both were appreciative of our help as they were told on a Wednesday, and the center's last day of operation would be that same week's Friday. The first few weeks were fine, but as it's been longer and longer, my husband and I are staring to doubt if they were actually looking for a new center. They've never offered to pay me for watching the kids, not that I ever asked for it. Until this past weekend, we took all the kids to a park on Saturday, and I spoke with my brother about whether or not they had found a new daycare. He said they had done some tours but were told there weren't spaces for the kids yet and had been waitlisted. I told him I completely understood and reminded him me keeping the kids was supposed to be temporary. I asked him if he and Rachel could start paying me $100 a week for both kids. He called me outrageous for even asking, citing we're family. I tried explaining how it increased the money my husband and I were spending having them in the house 5 days a week, but he called me lazy for still being on leave when my baby is 8 months old. At this point, I told him I would no longer be watching the kids and not to bring them Monday morning. Since Saturday, Chris and Rachel have blasted Dustin and I on social media, which has caused all kinds of friends and extended family to reach out, many calling us assholes amongst other things. Their posts made them look like victims. When my mom reached out, I explained the above, and she's now on mine and Dustin's side. Rachel's sister, and my brother have continued to text Dustin and I about what selfish assholes we are for not helping them in their time of need. Dustin and I are really having a hard time wrapping our heads around us being the assholes in this situation. So we figured we'd ask you guys who the assholes are here